Okay, so activity 116. New activity means new purpose statement. Okay, so we know that we're working up towards creating a definition essay. The topic is going to be about defining heroism. And the way that you're defining it is with the three strategies of function, example, and negation. Okay, last couple of activities, we've really focused on the example strategy. This activity, we're looking more so at the negation. So this purpose of this activity, not only are we working with the idea and the concept of the negation strategy, we're also going to be practicing our expository writing. So you're going to be creating a second body paragraph for your embedded assessment today. That's what your raw notebook entry is going to be about for today. We are going to be reading an example of a negation paragraph, but before we do that, we have a couple of things to kind of refresh ourselves on. And number one would be the idea of negation. What is this thing? So, Zoe P., can you read the before reading for us, step one, and then that first chunk of info?
Is not and makes what it is to the reader. For example, here is an
Okay, so just for our own sake of mind, just refreshing, in question asked, well, what the heck is the negation strategy? Well, there's our response. There's our quick response there. And we're going to look at a very quick definition. And it's not over a topic that we've discussed. It's not a definition of a hero. It's a definition of literally a horse. So we're just going to see how does the negation strategy work in some separate type of context. So, Eliana, can you read that definition of a horse for us?
A horse, a zebra, and alike in many ways, has significant. The horse, unlike a zebra, can be tamed and trained. And unlike a mule, which is a brutal beast of burden, a horse is a valued breeder of racing champion and hard consideration.
Okay, in that definition, there are two items of negation. What is a horse not, according to this definition? August? It is unlike a mule, meaning it's not a mule. And what's the other negation that's being presented to us? It's not a mule and it's not something else.
Well, before I said unlike a zebra, and now it's saying unlike.
Well, I'm special and I can't hear you today, so I apologize for breaking that one pretty bad. All right. Okay, now the paragraph not only has negation, it also has the function strategy hiding in there. So I'm just going to represent it with some underlining here. So what exactly is a horse then? What does a horse do? What is their function based on that definition of it?
It can be tamed and trained.
Yeah, it can be tamed and trained. And some people have argued another point that could be a function. So anything else that could possibly be a function?
It's a valued breeder.
Yeah. Something that can be valued. It can breed more of the same wonderful creature. Okay, so right below that, I want you to practice the definition of negation with your family just very briefly. And step 2 asks for you to list some actions or accomplishments that don't fit the definition of a hero. So I just want you to create a bullet point list, nothing fancy here. Just a bullet point list, I want you to go ahead and just create a quick bullet point list of ideas, but please reserve some area for a couple of ideas that I'm going to present to you. So if you've got about a minute and a half to discuss what does not make a hero in step 2, go ahead and do that. I asked you to go ahead and with your families create a list of ideas that showcase what a hero is not. And I posted 2 more that I do want you to copy down, and they may seem kind of silly, but I want you to copy them. The directions for step 2 had asked you to list actions or accomplishments that don't fit a definition of a hero, though they could when you first read them. So these are examples of that kind, where you read it at first and go, well, wait a second, no, it is. But if you think about it a little bit deeper, you can understand why it wouldn't fit. So I have, heroes don't complete the impossible. Well, sure, some of them do. But think, for example, of real-life hero, a firefighter, police officer. Does he or she always come home at the end of the workday? Can they get killed doing what they do? And does that make them any less than a hero? No, not at all. So that's something that, hey, at first glance, yeah, that makes a hero, but also it may not make a hero. And then I've got a silly one that says, hey, they don't run fast. Okay, well, superheroes, sure, they run fast. But what about the superhero of Private First Class Seegers? Lost his leg. He's not going to be able to run as quick as he once used to, but does that make him less than a hero? No, it doesn't. All right, and that's going to bring us to our 3rd point for the day. So can you please read that 3rd step for us? Someone I'm touching Taylor, can you read step 3 for us? So I have to repeat myself here. Well, step 3, go ahead and click underline what it is that we're supposed to be doing while we're reading. We're highlighting examples of negation. And it tells us a little hint here. It tells us to watch for words like never as a cue. Okay, the reason for that, the text was written in the 19th century. So when you read it, you're probably going to go, wait, what? Right off the bat, right off the cuff, you may not think you understand exactly what's going on here. Something else that I want you to consider, what we're reading isn't blatantly obvious about a hero. We're reading about the definition of a gentleman, how to act like a man and how to act like a lady type situations. All right? But even though the topic isn't about heroes, there's traits that you're going to read about with me that make you go, well, that could be a heroic trait. So while you're reading and while you're highlighting, there's one more thing I want you to do. I want you to underline any traits about this gentleman that you think could also flow for a hero as well. So you'll highlight anything that's showing the negation strategy, but I also want you to underline any spot that makes you go, well, that's also a trait of a hero, and I might use that for my essay. All right, let's go ahead and start reading definition of a gentleman.